Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another Tuesday tune-up with Let's Go Win. I have a special guest today, and I guess I couldn't call you a guest anymore because she seems to be here almost weekly. So one of the biggest questions I always get is you talk about vulnerability, JM, but what the heck does that mean and how do I practice it? So this week we launched a podcast and we have another one upcoming. We are going to be very vulnerable with some of the mistakes. Did you see any mistakes happen this week?
Quite a few. And first of all, let's talk about how you decided to launch not one podcast, but two podcasts. Like, who does that?
Why wouldn't you? I know nothing about doing a podcast, so why wouldn't you do two? It just made sense to me. So yes, we are launching one specific to the financial services. That's called Protect, Help, Give. And then we're also launching Transcendent Life, and that'll drop July 2nd. But in this week, I decided to go, I actually messed up twice. So on the Protect, Help, Give, I did a 40-minute interview with Brett Moore out of San Diego. Thank you, Brett. Quick shout out to my man. And realized about halfway through, I don't think I'm recording this. And we get done and I go to hit record and sure enough, nothing was recorded. And so that was mistake number one. So being completely honest and vulnerable, that sucks. So that was the first one. Any comments or any anything you'd like to share? Because Brett took it extremely well. I was extremely unhappy with myself.
Yeah, and I usually just do my eye roll. Like, that's my favorite Bitmoji, by the way, the eye roll or emoji. Yeah, mistakes are going to happen.
Okay, so mistake number 2 happened. And that was when I had Taro Arai, who will be our second guest for the Transcendent Life podcast. And we're doing the everything's going great. Again, about 40 minutes or so of an amazing interview. I'm having such a good time. And then I listen to it and you can't hear Taro. The guest. That's a problem. You kind of want to hear how the guest sounds. I sound great. Other than I have developed a lisp because I'm using the computer speaker instead of using the actual the proper microphone setup. So mistake number 2, guess what, Taro? I get to do this all over again and again. He was nice enough to say yes. So I wanted to share with you being completely vulnerable, some of the mistakes I'm making as I'm launching these things. Because it's not necessarily easy, but I do see the long run. So when you encounter this, when you're trying something new and you, again, make these mistakes, what's your process? So they can understand and share in it, because I want to hear mistakes other people make, because I think that's the truth. That it's not all glamour. It's not like everything's perfect. No, lots of mistakes happen, and that's real life.
Yeah. So usually in my scenario, I don't make that many mistakes, right? Like, do I make mistakes? I do. I don't tell him that though. But usually there's quite a few choice words that come out. We don't need to name them here. And then I go, okay, how are we going to fix that? And one thing on the mistakes you made, I am so thankful, and I haven't said this at all, but I am so thankful for the Rona right now, because if it wasn't for the Rona, Brett Moore and Taro are the most extremely busiest people I've ever known. Like, Taro is usually not even here in the country very often. And so you're really lucky that it's during the quarantine and people have time to fix your mistakes for you.
Well, 2 things. So now we're calling it the Rona, apparently. It's not even COVID-19. It's just the Rona in our household. And yes, we are very fortunate. The other thing we're fortunate on is they were completely understanding. They're like, they laughed it off and said, can't wait. And here's what's interesting. The second time around with Brett was even better. So maybe that's the reason that it happened. So guys, again, you see this stuff, whether you like the content or you don't. I guess if you're here, hopefully you do. Understand that lots of mistakes happen. I want to share that with you. Just like finally the studio is put together. If you could see it, it's finally put together. It's been an absolute mess until this point. And we have a bookshelf behind us, not just a blank wall. But at least where can they find us and how can they connect with us?
So there's a lot of places. So first, make sure you subscribe and share it with your friends. And check us out at letsgowin.com. and also on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram at Let's Go Win 365. We're all over the place.
Guys, keep failing. It's awesome. Trust me. It's just part of the process. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I cannot wait to see you next week on Tuesday Tune Up. Have a great week.
Bye.